4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9,
10.
Yes,
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Welcome to another episode of Around the Way Girls.
What's happening?
It just made me think that ATL said whenever we argue, we should call it Around the Way Quarrels.
Tell him to shut up. He doesn't even listen to the podcast, and I know he doesn't. He knows us.
He watches the videos too. He said, "Yeah, y'all should change it to Around the Way Quarrels." Yeah, that killed me.
The fact that that's one of your best friends kills me. And
Listen,
nobody understands this joke.
Speaking of which, through this person, it's come to my attention that friends sometimes send their friend, something happened, a conversation with this person, but then I saw a meme. And it made me realize that some people be sending their friends, like if I may have sent you a sex tape of me, right? Some friends are sending their best friends or their friends them having sex with other people.
No.
And I know, now it gets really problematic because men may be doing this, right? Unbeknownst to the women. But that's the fucked up part.
But how many dick pics have the women shared?
So let's talk about this, okay? Girl,
I haven't sent y'all dick pics. Have I sent y'all dick pics? No, I might have told you I got one.
Yes, you've sent me a dick before. You have sent me a dick pic before.
Why would you say that on air? Did I? Who? Text me.
Was
it years ago?
It was years ago, but yeah, I've seen a dick pic from you.
I've evolved.
Okay. Maybe you haven't, but yes, you have.
I think you made that up.
No.
Text it to me.
I'm not going to do that in this very moment.
Text me, please. I need to know in this moment.
But if all parties were consenting, right? If you're like, yeah, I took a sex tape, made a sex tape, me having sex with somebody, and then I was like, Internet, I'm about to show it to you. Like, if you just would you want? Is that like a thing? If all parties, okay. First of all, is this a thing?
It's not a thing for me.
If I was like, girl, look at my new ride, like I've been practicing this move, watch.
Oh, I would absolutely watch it. I'd be like, go girl. You kidding me?
I would not want to see that.
I would like, absolutely watch it.
Are y'all doing that out there? Well, that's my question to the
That's what brought
collective.
Mandy and I together.
Excuse me?
That's what brought Mandy and I together. I will never forget sitting down next to her and she showed me her doing something to someone. And I was like, oh, okay. Because Jade was like, that's Peg the Stallion. And I was like, what does that mean? I didn't know what that meant or who she was. And she was like, oh, you want to see? And I proceeded to be horrified.
That's wild. If you
needed to show me something to be like, I want you to help.
Or I was just like, look at this guy. Look what he did, girl. Here, watch what happened last night, girl. This is
that I probably might be less interested in. Also, I don't ever think. Let me tell y'all something. If somebody is doing me right and I have video of it, I don't need to share that with my friends. I trust y'all. I love y'all, but like, that's not for you.
I would really
that's
never.
Not. Yeah, like,
I wouldn't want to see yours either. I really wouldn't. Sometimes I'm taken aback by the pics as well, the men's dick pics. I'm like, why are you showing me the man's?
What you're not going to do is create a narrative that I've sent you a bunch of dick pics.
You haven't.
I don't think that I have even ever sent you one. I think you might have made that up.
I might have,
but
I apologize.
But what I'm thinking in my head is that I've seen myself have sex and it's horrible looking. It's like, this is ugly. this don't look the way it feels.
I be seeing the sun, the moon, the mountains, and then it sounds like
as a tomato. Number one, sweating like a hog. My hair is half straight. half curly. I got makeup running down my face because I ain't take my makeup off yet. It just looks a mess. It looks a mess. And I'm like, y'all think this is sexy? Because looks like a bomb went off. But hey, when you're in it, you're in it. I don't know. But I'll never forget. I filmed myself once and we were like, oh, we're gonna watch it back. And it was like that episode of Friends. I think it
No.
wasn't it Rachel
Any Friends? No. I couldn't reference. A life depended on it, I would not be able to tell you.
There was an episode of Friends where I think Rachel filmed herself and they were like, turn it off, because it was just really. And I thought, and you know you're filming it, so you're like trying to be more sexy and like more performative. And I was like, what the fuck, yo? If this is what it's giving when I'm trying,
imagine shout out to porn stars. They giving it. They doing it now.
They not even doing it. It's weird. That's the real shit. Okay, give me the amateur any day. Except they're not getting paid for it. It's tricky. Revealing
to completely change
please
chords here. I know we talk about her all the time. Renee, she said, yo, first of all, keep my name out y'all mouth. All right, enough is enough. Get off of mine. Anyway, shout out to Renee Blewett. She is hosting, organized, envisioning, spearheading the She Did That Holiday Bazaar. It's happening December 3rd with nearly 50 Black women-owned businesses. The Sable Collective will be included. This is the biggest holiday event that I've ever participated with Renee. So this is a big deal. There are at least 3 or 4 businesses that participated on Bet on Black that will be there. So it's going to be like a little reunion. So I'm super hyped for all those businesses. Some folks are traveling all the way from Chicago to come. So, it's going to be at Shell's Loft in Fort Greene, Brooklyn on December 3rd from 12 to 6 p.m. I don't think you guys want to miss this. It's a really great time. I recommend you get dressed up, look cute with your friends, get a little something to eat, have some drinks. There'll probably be drinks there. I hope you are.
Okay, yeah.
Come through.
I have to get dressed up?
Yes. It's an event. I think this is going to be an event, y'all. It's not a sweatpants type of thing. It's like, let me put on my makeup. Let me put on my little outfit. I was going to
wear sweatpants. You know what? The shade that you're sending.
I'm not giving. You didn't wear sweatpants last year. I'm encouraging people to. I ain't talking about you. First of all,
sorry, it's not about me. It's not about character energy. Sorry.
I think it's gonna be a big one. I think it's gonna be great. I'm super excited. She done had a billboard on.
What's that called? Times Square. And she had an event. I'm mad I didn't go.
T-Mobile event exclusives. The girl's
First
big
of all,
time.
Samsung, don't do that. Don't mess up the sponsors.
I apologize. That's why you here. Sorry, Renee. She said, "Girl, you got one
AT&T and T-Mobile." Shut the fuck up, yo.
Boost Mobile.
Cricket. Mint. What's the Mint joint with Ryan Reynolds?
Government cable. Damn. I'm sorry, Renee. Samsung. Anyway, get your tickets on Eventbrite. All you have to search is She Did That Holiday Bazaar.
Can you send me the link? Also, make sure you put the link in the description. Yeah.
But come through. Come see Sable. Come see Antoinette. I might make her work. Maybe I won't have to work.
I was good last year. I would like to work.
My hope for us is that we can mix and mingle and talk to people, and we don't.
I really enjoyed working. I felt that I learned the POS system quickly. I felt that I was a good saleswoman. I came up with fun games at the table. Smell this, do this. It was interesting.
Okay, well maybe maybe Antoinette will be working.
I think
I
will.
Come say hi to the kid, to the porcelain princess. And that's my updates. What up?
Okay. I don't really have updates. I am proud of myself, but also fighting shame. This weekend, baby, I did that boot camp class that I threw up in. I did it twice. I did it once on Saturday, got my ass up Sunday morning and went.
Yes.
took the day off on Monday.
Yes.
Tuesday was at hot yoga. Yesterday was at Pilates. Today I'm recording, and tomorrow we are back to hot yoga, and we're going into boot camp the next 2 days.
Girl.
But I ate like a horse. And not all the best food. There were some good meals I didn't eat like a horse. It was really the quality of food, the snacking. And there's a snack section at my job that I just have to tell people, if you see me walk over here, just slap the shit out of me.
Oh.
Just say no. It's so
what
hard.
What kind of snacks are they?
Oh God, they've got what are the cookies? The real crispy. I don't even like crispy cookies, but I fuck with these gluten-free crispy cookies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They're real buttery and they're
in the green bag.
Yup. I don't know what they call.
Amazing business too.
Them Jones be taking me out. They have candy everywhere. They have these pop chips, white cheddar pot chips.
Tell them first of all, you're killing us.
Girl.
You're killing me emotionally with this job that I'm in prison to, and then you want to kill me physically?
I know, it's so bad. So I'm like, okay, but here I go. I'm not going to get myself down. I'm like, okay, you are back in the swing of the workouts and of you prioritizing that and making time for it and saying no at the end of the day at work, saying no to friends. I'm doing well in like, no, I'm not going to go out to dinner. I'll come hang out with y'all, maybe, or no, I can't hang out because I'm going to my workout class. You can come to that.
That's right.
But I have to get the snacking together, and that's a whole other psychological, emotional thing. This like comfort is deeply rooted, and I know it. So I'm trying not to beat myself up, but I also ate cookie dough as well. Why was I eating cookie dough?
Girl, why are you even talking about this? Go back to you working out and doing well, and that's what you're gonna keep doing.
Because I know that other people do this. I know that there are people who work out, they do well, and then they get so down after, because the diet is the most important part. The health factor is the most important part. So it's like, I see you, I am you. If I figure out some shit on how to curb this, I will definitely give you the information. But today I did better. Today I was good.
Good work by you on all the fronts.
It's a fight. That's my update. I don't need to update nobody on nothing else. Mind your business. I just saw what I wrote and I'm annoyed with myself. Like, anyway, voicemails.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, that makes me think of Beavis and Butthead on Twitter. I was like, Wayne's World, baby. All right. This first voicemail is a treat.
Hey, how you doing? This is Jeffrey from Atlanta. I'm not calling about a particular episode. I'm just calling to see if I can Shanti's will for me to. It's open to me to shoot my shot. Because if she's open, I will gladly DM her and shoot my shot.
Damn, not me getting
called back. He called back. He called once and then he called back, and I aired both of them.
He in Atlanta? I'm trying to move to Atlanta like all the girls do.
Justin, you probably not a patron, but she's rubbing her chest while she's saying
this
and leaned in forward. She's giving her single Shanti vibes. This like very flirtatious. Don't worry though. Get me on clap is coming. Can you slide in the DM or not, girl? Justin, slide. I give you permission.
Justin, you gotta make that call on your own, dog. Like, I think I already answered that for you.
Oh,
I think I already did.
So you
ain't
are
nothing
fine
stopping
with it.
you? Yeah, ain't nothing stopping you.
Okay. Well, I don't know
hey,
if you
Justin.
see how my face is, but I'm very excited about it. I am. Can you see? Like, I love it.
He's from Atlanta.
We don't know if he's from there. Is he from there or does he live there?
Show me around. I'm trying to move there, respectively, outside of Atlanta.
Right. Y'all supposed to drive to Savannah.
Right.
Justin, step your game up.
We're supposed to drive to Savannah.
I just remember.
Black-owned restaurant. What's that? Oh my God. What's it called? Everybody's screaming it. That's where I'm trying to go.
The one that the dude just did a
It was on Chef's Table.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
And it's
You need your
bussin'.
glasses. You can't see.
I know. You see, I can't see it. Goddamn thing.
All right, I'm next voicemail. Can you write the voicemail times? It's too hard for me to do both of them things. Ready, set, go.
Hey, it's Max. So I'm going to sum this whole thing up. I now realize that leaving a 3-minute voicemail is difficult, so shout out to everybody who has done it. So basically, to sum all of that up, compartmentalizing and taking politics out of the equation when you're dating. I used to think it was possible. And I think that was back when things were like, I guess not as dire, but now everything is so polarizing. So you literally have to go into dates like, are you progressive, Democrat, or Republican? Are you for women's rights? Are you for the liberation of Palestinian people? And it's like, this is all very dark and heavy stuff to get into at the beginning. And I'm someone, Shanti, who likes a good Dave and Buster's date in the beginning. Keep things light, flirty, fun. You're going to be a little competitive, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's like recently, I think with the climate and how things have been, I'm just not sure anymore. Because it's like getting into the situation and then later, realizing it's just not going to work. But shout out to you guys. You have been doing your thing. These episodes as of late, I mean, they're always great, but lately, Unhinged Shanti it's like my favorite Shanti. So keep doing your thing. I'm a fan. I'm about to leave another review on a few platforms right now. And I wish you guys nothing but continued success.
Oh, thanks, Max. So Max had called. He called and then he called back to summarize because he got cut off. But basically, he was dating this person and then he found out that the person and him didn't have the same political beliefs, but it was tricky because it was hot and heavy. He was feeling the person, but the person they weren't aligned. It got tricky because then somebody else came in the picture. He was getting flowed out. It was a whole thing.
What?
I couldn't keep up. I was like, Max.
We missed the best email. That's the one we should have listened to.
Not an email.
Voicemail.
Voicemails. Girl, I don't know. You could not date somebody that was like, fuck Palestine. Stop it. No.
Yeah. I couldn't have sex with somebody that had that. Nope.
Yeah. So.
But some people are capable of compartmentalizing. Some people are like, this is strictly a sexual relationship. I have no emotional investment.
Dating.
Oh, dating. Dating is one thing, but if you just like, I don't want to. You don't open your mouth. Shh. This is what we're doing. That's a different story.
About dating.
Max, can you just keep him out as a friend?
No, I can't have sex with somebody who
would say
fuck Palestine.
Some people can.
You can't get accidentally pregnant by somebody who feels that way.
I don't. That ain't my thing. But some people can really compartmentalize in that way. They really were just like, I ain't got nothing to do with.
Well, girl, this is a podcast. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about some people. Okay. I don't
have any interest in that.
We're aligned. All right. Last voicemail. Set. Go. Oh.
Hey, Shanti. Hey, Antoinette. First off, I want to thank you, Antoinette, for your rundown on the things happening overseas with Israel as well as Palestine. You gave me more information than any school, parent, news, anything ever has. You truly gave me everything I know right now is because of you. I am 27 years old, and I've just always had this narrative, or I'll say I grew up with this narrative of it's war overseas, because throughout my life it's just kind of always been tensions overseas for oil or whatever other resources. I've known America is on the bad side for most of it, so you gave me education I literally did not have before. And when it comes to voting right now, when you talk about like the excitement and feeling activated, I feel defeated. I feel depressed about it. I do feel like, you know what, like I have the effort mindset, and I feel like when I do vote, I'm voting on the defense. I'm voting on the true, like, okay, let's just not have Trump in office because he's gonna F stuff up. But I don't believe Biden is making things any better. And I mean, you just ran down all these great, wonderful things he did, but for the most part, if any of it impacted me, it was indirectly. I'm not saying Trump was doing anything better or anybody else. You know, I'm just saying it was indirect. So I think that takes away from like the motivation or his likeness that people might have. So yeah, that's just very tricky because, like I said, I feel like I'm voting on the defense to keep somebody else out of office, not like I'm happy to put somebody in office. I will always vote. I truly don't care if people do vote or not. I'm not one to be like, get out and vote, because, you know, it's that meme of the fire and the little creature sitting at the table saying everything is fine. And that's me when it comes to politics here. I live in Atlanta, so it's like a blue city in a red state, and things are tricky. And yeah, I mean, we have people who are Democrats in office, mayor's office, and it's like they do crazy stuff too. So it's like, who, you know, you feel like you vote how you're supposed to, but you still get the same result. And that sucks. That's all, though. Thank you, guys.
Oh, God. It breaks my heart to hear that somebody in Atlanta doesn't want to vote. I guess I gotta be honest. Oh, so necessary there. I get it, though. I'm torn too, child. I don't know what else we could say on this.
Yeah. Samesies.
I don't know. We got to think about the ancestors, all they did to get us these rights, though. That's what tears me up. I'm like, nah, people lost their lives so we could vote. It's gonna be slow progression, I hope. Thank you for your call. And I do thank you for, there's a lot of people that like dapped me up and showed a lot of love for that episode. And I realized like that we should do more episodes like that. It just takes a lot, and we have to do one on the Congo. There's so many other things. There's so many other things happening. I'm gonna continue to try to do our best to like have these kind of basic bitch breakdowns. But I do want to caution people, like, please don't let Around the Way Curls or like Politics as Usual be the only source. I get it if it is, because life be lifing and people are busy, and also people have capacity for only but so much. But I'm biased. My views are skewed. I'm not the most well-researched person in the world. Shanti is not the most well-researched person in the world. And so what the goal is for this to be a launching pad for folks to go out and do their own research and have their own understanding. Not this. So, all right. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, as we said last week, we're going to be joined by a very special guest. Some of you patrons know him because he was on the last town hall we did.
Oh, yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
Talking his shit. Doing his thing. We're going to be back with Leo to God, after these messages. You want to sing, Sheila?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And we are back. Hello. We are here joined with a special guest. And if you are part of our Patreon community, then you might be familiar with this guest, as he joined us on our last Around the Way kickback/town hall. We are joined by Mr. Leo McCaffrey.
Okay,
and he government. Was a fan. I know. I was like, well, he put it there, so I was like, I guess I could say the last name. Usually I don't.
Junior.
Hold on. It's pronounced McAfee. We can get
I'm sorry.
That out. It's all right.
McAfee.
It's all right.
Say it again.
McAfee.
That's what I say.
You said McAfee. You put an R.
I put an R in there.
I don't like that.
We all know that. Let's not be ableist. We know that I have a problem with my eyes.
All right.
And so, no, I apologize. All right. McGaffey. Say it again.
McAfee, like the internet
McAfee. I
protection.
get it. I just needed there to be like an A in between that MC. I'm
It's
embarrassing
fine.
myself. But anyway,
Them Irish
here
folks
we
gonna make the
are.
names how they want. It's fine.
No. Here we are. We are joined by Leo. And Leo has been a staple of the Around the Way Crow community in the past couple of months. You remind me of a older staple man that we had, Ben. Shout out, where the fuck did Ben go?
He is not like Ben, first of all.
No, he's not like Ben at all. But it was like Ben was here and Ben was holding it down for a while, and then he dipped out somewhere, and then in came Leo, and Leo was like, "Hey, ladies," all the time. "Hey, ladies, have you considered this? Hey, ladies, have you
True.
considered X?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, or maybe." But Leo, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are. We're gonna get into a conversation around manhood, masculinity, not a conversation that is going to be battle of the sexes. We just want to talk. We want to understand each other better. And you feel like somebody that is equipped to have said conversation. So who are you, friend? How the hell do you know us?
Yeah, so my name's Leo McAfee Jr. I am a man from South Texas, close to Houston to be exact. I'm a country boy, grew up basically on the water every weekend. But what I did also grow up with is love and community and family, and a very healthy version of masculinity that just seems natural to me, but not so natural to a lot of people, which I guess is fortunate and unfortunate for myself. About about 3 years ago, my dad passed of a heart attack, and ever since then, I would say immediately after, I had to redefine who I was as a man, as a human being, because I came intimately close to death. Because my father is no longer here. So I did a deep dissection of who I am, why I am the way I am, how I interact with people, how I just walk through the world, and come to find out, I'm doing pretty good because of my upbringing, because of my conditioning, what it says. I'm not perfect by any means, and neither is my mother or my father, but I think they gave me a very good foundation to exist. And ever since then, I've tried my best to try to help people and help them recognize that, hey, there's healthy people that exist, and also there's a healthier way to exist, and we can all tap into it. We just have to think about it a little bit and try a little bit.
Amen.
Amen. I'm sorry to hear about your father.
Yes, ma'am. It's a part of life. We all got to go someday.
How did you stumble upon Around the Way Curls and Shanti and myself?
So it's kind of an interesting story about that. So I used to listen to Joe Budden podcast a lot, but not as much anymore. But while I was listening to his podcast, I saw there was a new podcast on his network. So that was See the Thing Is. And then I heard Antoinette speak on it. Antoinette, I heard you speak. And I said to myself, oh my God, this woman, she's talking about feminism and giving men grace and treating men like human beings. Who is this woman? I have to hear more about what she's saying. Because from my perspective, outside of my mom and my aunties and aunts, I don't know how y'all say it up now.
What you say? My aunties?
My aunties. That's what we say.
Aunties? That's so cute. Okay.
That's what we say in the South. Other than them and the women close to me in my circle, I really don't have that. I really don't see a lot of men giving grace and love and compassion for when we mess up, when we're not perfect, when we don't adhere to patriarchal standards. So when I heard you, I said, no, I gotta see what else she's talking about. Does she have a podcast? So you plugged your podcast, and then I've been a listener ever since.
Oh wow! So you've been around for a little while.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like the second time you were on there.
Oh yeah, so you've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't feel like it was my time to say anything for a while. until y'all just kept talking, and I was like, oh man, I got to join in on this conversation.
Y'all kept talking. I would shut up. All right. So then, with that said, I think I guess, can you understand why? Because while I try to give a lot of men grace and humanize them, I understand why some women don't have that space. I feel like a lot of women have been harmed deeply by men, and this is on the heels. We're recording this November 16th, and all of the stuff just came out about Cassie and Diddy, and it's a lot. And you're like, God damn, bro, God damn. And so often I feel like women are exploited at very young ages by men, that they don't have even their relationship with their fathers, their uncles, their grandfathers are not always the strongest. And so there's this, to me, this deep disappointment and hurt and pain that is completely reasonable, I feel. And I think the work for me is in, one, I'm lucky that I had a great father growing up. And so maybe I'm able to humanize folks more because of my relationship with my dad and how deeply flawed he is, but how much he loves me. And I could see that. But I can understand when other people don't. They don't have that capacity. So I'm curious to know, as a man, can you understand that?
Yes, and intimately so, because I've been harmed by men myself, and it's not
Talk about it.
necessarily men as a group of people. It's patriarchy. The system that harms us all in this way is patriarchy, and I like to talk towards the system and not so much towards a group of people, because once you demonize a group of people, it's kind of hard to exist with them, because it's the other theory. It's the, well, they must all be bad people. Like, I've seen so much
Right.
media ever since social media really blew up about, oh, men are just terrible people, you can't trust them. But I look internally and say, well, that can't be true. I'm a man and I'm very trustworthy. And I don't take it as personal, but I like to think, well, one, there's a reason why these narratives are set out the way they are, because there's truth to them. But also, my that's not my reality. So I think y'all mentioned it on today's episode that came out, about just understanding the root of things. Well, why does that man behave this way? How has patriarchy and sexism and all these other isms affected this man and led to the person I'm dealing with right now? Because, like with the Jadena thing, he may have been doing all those things and
What
not
things?
all his negative behaviors towards women, and not even been aware of how he was affecting them, because he may have been raised in an environment, I don't know him, but he may have been raised in an environment where it was okay to be selfish and not think about the well-being of women and how they were going to feel after he engaged with them. So,
Shanti. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but back to just understanding it. Yes, like, I've read 6 or 7 Bell Hooks books at this point, not just the ones where she's talking about men, also the ones where she's talking to y'all, like the women. It's just an understanding of those father wounds, those mother wounds, just those wounds that we have from our childhood that are unresolved. Because if you think about it, we're all just kids that kept growing up. We never stopped growing, and there's so many unresolved issues that a lot of us have, that it just comes out in different ways as adults. It may be self-deprecating speech. It may be lack of love for ourselves, or unconscious promiscuity. Some people have, like, there's so many it's just a very nuanced conversation, and it depends on the person.
Yeah. Shanti, do you want me to keep going? No. Okay. So I'm curious to know. You said how like I agree with everything you said. I think putting that into practice is harder for folks. Like putting into practice, not, you talked about talking about a system or systems, right? Instead of a group of people. Um, and then, there's all kinds of intersections there because a lot of this stuff is very specific to cis hetero men, black men within our community, black and brown men. Um, and so, like, if you're speaking to a woman who is having a hard time at identifying and speaking to that system and keeping that system in mind that it's like at play, how do you guide her to start to think that way, to not box a group of people up in one kind of thought?
So first thing, she has to be receptive. That's off top. Because I can sit here and talk and waste my breath all day, but if baby not receptive, what we doing? I'm not finna waste my time. Um, what I have to do then is understand who I'm really talking to. So how I like to engage with people is just listen. I'll listen to someone talk for hours and hours before I even really engage with them on the intimate level, because I need to know who this person is so I know how to carefully engage with them. Because what I don't want to do is unintentionally harm somebody, which it's inevitable. We all do. Like we unintentionally hurt people all the time. But I engage with her to understand why her perspective is the way it is, and really let her feel safe and comfortable enough to do so. Then I'll start asking questions like like one of the women I've dealt with in the past, she was very much harmed and had never experienced a man like myself before. And when she engaged with me, she there was always an issue with the way I was soft or gentle in conversation, and I wasn't trying to be aggressive or mansplain things or things like that. And she reacted in a less favorable way. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversations just always led back to being rooted in love. And I had to tell her multiple times in conversation, hey, don't forget that it's me and you in this room. I love you. Don't forget that. And let's breathe
Mm.
for a second. And then I would hold her hand and we would breathe, and then we would continue the conversation. And if it's
Was
someone
she
that I'm not,
receptive to that?
yeah, because
Mm.
she personally had issues that revolved around physical safety with men, and I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
small man, so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would be standing up talking, and she would have a negative reaction to that, or such a visceral reaction.
Mm.
But that came from things in her past, which didn't have anything to do with me. But before we get out of hand, I would say, okay, let me sit down, let me look you in the face, put my hand on your thigh, on your leg, on your shoulder, hold my hand, whatever, so you can know that I love you. And I told her that we had those conversations and moved forward. And it usually works better that way.
So Leo, I'm listening to you and I'm curious to know, like, do you know that is not the norm?
I'm
That what you're describing is not what most women, I would say, experience?
I am painfully aware, Antoinette.
So then, go ahead, Shanti. Come on.
Oh no, go ahead.
What is so then? What is, because I what I don't want to do is turn this into how, what can women do to help men be better men?
Mm-hmm.
We can get into how we can be better partners to you, better whatever to you, better friends. But what needs to happen in order for that to shift? The fact that that your approach is like, hey, I am observing you, I see what your needs are, and I'm going to do my best to meet your needs and to make you feel safe. And I have to be self-aware in order to do that. That's not a woman's work in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's that can't be. So what's the solve? How do we get there? How do we encourage men to get there? we being men. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I know. So, as I've mentioned in my voicemails, I do have a men's book club. It's now the men's meetup for the fall. Um, and in those conversations, we discuss how to be better men, not just for ourselves, but for our community. And there's gay men, trans
Mm-hmm.
men, bisexual men, men from all over the spectrum in that
Mm-hmm.
group. And patriarchy is patriarchy. If you are a male presenting person or you have a penis, you will be treated and acknowledged a certain way in most environments. And you're conditioned a certain way also. Because don't think patriarchy don't exist in the LGBTQIA plus community, because it does.
Right.
Um, but what we can do is encourage men to read, encourage men to have these conversations with themselves, have these conversations with their lovers, with their mothers, with their fathers, with everyone, and really dive deep into their conditioning. Because that's what I did before I even got in a relationship or started having sex with people. I was like, you know, I was raised in church, and they told us to move with love and move with faith and try to be as much like God as possible. So, and God loves everyone. God listens to us all. So why not do the same? And I try to instill that into everyone I come into contact with. I try to treat the other person like you treat yourself. And if you don't treat yourself well, then there's an issue that you should look into and try to resolve. So that's my encouragement to men all the time, and just people. But you asked a question about men, but just understand the why behind you, who you are, the why behind your actions, and read the room, bro. Like, pay attention
But
to.
what if there's not a
Uh,
willingness though? What if there's not a willingness for folks to go to your group? Like for someone
mhm.
to go to your group and say, "I want to go to the what is it called? Say it again. I want to say call it the right thing. The
Men's book club, men's
men's
meetup,
book club,
either
men's
or.
meetup.
It's
Okay,
basic. It's so basic.
that's fine.
We working though. We
But
working though. We
yeah,
working.
I heard you doing the work, baby.
We doing the work.
Okay. um for someone to look at that and say, I'm going to go to this men's meetup, they've already done some sort of work, something,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, something has happened where they feel encouraged to go, right? How do we get there? Because there's like an outreach that needs to happen, I feel, because there is this block, there is this thing where like a lot of men that I meet, even I have such beautiful men in my life, but most of them are not going to a men's book club, a men's
Mm-hmm.
meetup to go do any kind of self work. If they're doing self work, they're doing it quietly, maybe with a therapist, or they're thinking about it, or they're listening to Joe Budden for life skills, which is a whole other issue.
No, sir. Absolutely not.
It's a
That
whole
is
other issue.
purely entertainment, like most podcasts are. Um, if someone's not willing to come to one of these groups, I just suggest finding those men in your life, those male figures that that are inspirational to you, that you can ask questions, that you can run things by. Like for me, my entire upbringing, I was blessed to have my dad, my uncles, men in church, deacons in church, that are still in my life now. That whenever I get married, they'll be at the wedding. Like every time I
Hmm.
go home, those same deacons, they come kiss me on the forehead, say, "Son, I love you. Don't forget that." And even when I was growing up, they would take us on fishing trips and sit with us and talk to us and tell us about life, tell us what it is to be a black man and how we have to move, how to move with love, how to take care of your family.
So
So
what
if
I'm hearing is I'm sorry, what I'm hearing is that it's rooted in some sort of like, what is the word? Why am I high? What is it? Some sort of mentorship.
yeah,
Like, but so again, in order to seek out mentorship, you
mm-hmm.
have to have done some sort of work or reached a point where you have a will to change, no pun intended. But if you my thing is, what I want to see in all of us is an activation of, if I see someone making decisions, falling to the making decisions that are harmful for both themselves and for the people around them, that somebody taps them, that there is some sort of loving reach back of mentorship, of guidance, of something. And I feel like I don't see that as much. I kind of feel like I'm out here flailing a little bit, where I would love to have somebody who's like, yo, let me tap into you, let me talk to you, let me help guide you on like this, on just life. Not on, people will do it with work. They'll help you write a resume, they'll help you get a job, they'll show you how to shoot the ball, get the ball in the fucking basket. Everybody will be a coach, but when it comes to emotional well-being and life skills, I don't feel like that mentorship is as much in the forefront. And I think now more than ever, like, it's necessary and needed.
Yeah, it is. And no disrespect to you, but I have a different perspective on that.
Okay.
Um, there is an awful lot of male mentorship. It just looks a little different because of
Okay.
how we're conditioned. There's different ways to go about mentoring a man. So for a lot of men, it's sports, right? You can A lot of men get mentorship through coaching, through physical exercise. Like for example, I go to a CrossFit gym here in the city, and I get mentorship there every time I go because the head
Mm-hmm.
coach, he's a wise older man that has kids, has grandkids, and he pours into us. And I can call him right now, and he'll pick up, and we'll chat for hours, and I'll pick up so much game from him. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I think all of what you're saying are very valid points. But at the end of the day, you're gonna like the individual man himself is gonna have to seek those things out
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like good men don't exist. It's not like healthy men don't exist. We're here. We just don't get a lot of publicity for all the reasons that is. That's intentional, by the way. We're
Right.
not finna get into no hotep stuff, but I got a little bag I'll be
We
getting
can
in.
get Hotepi
But
over
but
here.
it's that is by design that men like me, men like my father, and all them, they exist, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not the ones that are gonna hit the blogs or we're gonna hear about. Like even like on conventional podcasts and stuff, like y'all's version of y'all's current topics. I forgot what y'all's segment is called, but think about it. How many times do you actually hear about, hey, Deion Sanders is doing this wonderful thing for he's setting a wonderful example for all black men across the country to be a good dad and be a good person. How many times have y'all heard that? How many times have you heard, hey, this man, um, his wife died and he took care of his 4 kids by himself with the help of community, and all of his kids went to college. That happens so often, but we don't talk about it as much. But I see
Mm-hmm.
it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Leo, what was your parents' relationship like? Would you consider them to have a traditional dynamics, traditional roles in their marriage? Was your mother a stay-at-home mom? Did your dad work? Did they fit this traditional blueprint for what a woman's supposed to do and what a man's supposed to do?
I'm smiling because my mother is bell hooks if she did not go to an institution. Because as I was reading through bell hooks, I was like, "Is my mom talking to me? Did my mom
Mm-hmm.
write this?" But that explains what I'm going into. So she, they didn't have necessarily traditional roles in the relationship. From what I've been told, they got together because my mom was she was on her own, doing her own thing, getting her own money. My dad was doing the same thing, and they were in their 30s, well, late 20s. They had me at when they were 30. So they got together, understood, okay, I'm going to do these things because I'm good at them. You're going to do those things because you're good at them. And we're going to teach each other and learn from each other. There wasn't necessarily any roles that were placed on them because they were raised like country, Southern, Baptist church. Yes, all the stereotypes you could think of, but they just got together and figured it out. And that led to me having the mentality that I have because anytime I engage with someone, I think about, well, my mother and father had a beautiful relationship. Let me try to recreate the same. And the only way I'm going to do that is understanding myself and what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I can work on, what I can receive from someone, because that's what they did.
Yeah, I think I'm not mad at the traditional roles. I feel like we talk about feminism, we talk about equality in relationships, and it's kind of like we throw the baby out with the bathwater in a way of like, there's some type of inequality if the man's the breadwinner and the woman stays home, or there's some type of progress if the man stays home and the woman is the main breadwinner. And even in my own conversations I have with my mom, who lived a very alternative, hippie, free love life, and due to the heartache and the life choices that she experienced, now she's very much like, in order to avoid all of that, you get married, you don't have children out of wedlock, the man is the head of the household, and the woman takes care of the kids. And so we often go back and forth around the absurdity of that, but also I can't disregard, or I can't even deny some of the traditional norms that feel very that I still want, that I think are dope when it happens. When I think about when I see families, the typical nuclear family, I don't necessarily scoff at it or think that there's some type of like fucked up dynamic there. So I'm just curious as to what. Yes, you're listening to Bell Hooks. You're probably hearing about all the ways in which folks can be in relationship and love, and there be equality, and there be, deep regard. But what do you feel, and what is your desire for like a traditional nuclear family? Do you think that is the antithesis actually of all of those things, and it upholds patriarchy and it automatically causes inequality in the roles? Or do you think not, that is something to strive for, and it can be achieved as long as the dynamic of the relationship is healthy?
I think a lot of those things are secondary, honestly, in a relationship, like those roles, who does what, who's supposed to make all the money and do all that. I think what the foundation has to be is, what God do you serve? And I don't mean some white man on the cloud riding around with a thunderbolt. I mean the God of discipline, the God of love, the God of accountability. Like, all love is all those things. God is all those things. Those words are interchangeable. So if we serve the same God, we can just figure things out at that point. Because again, that's what my parents did. They served the same God, and I'll go to me now. Any successful situation I've had has been because we were emotionally on the same page, and foundationally on the same page. Now, your question about, does it adhere to patriarchy? I don't know, because after reading a lot and talking to a lot of people, I don't know if everything is just patriarchy, because some things just make sense, and some things are biological too. Because we got to make some separation, y'all. Because I am who I am. I'm strong. I can do yard work, which I enjoy. I fix things. I'm handy. I do math for a living. I like read, like all those things. I'm gonna just do
you
that.
do math for a living? What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm an engineer.
Child does math for a living.
And yeah, like the shade. What?
No, what shade is that? That's not shade on.
That's shade to you.
Oh, okay.
Why would I
misread
shade that?
Okay.
That's amazing.
But yeah, there's just things I'm naturally gonna do, and it feels right for me to do. And
so you pumping the gas?
Yeah, I pump gas.
You take it out the trash.
Clean, take out the
Doing
trash.
yard work.
I cook. I do yard work.
You look like you cook. You look like,
Relax. Relax. You was doing so good. But yeah, I just think everybody needs to sit down with themselves and be honest about what is patriarchy and what isn't. Because it isn't patriarchal for me to understand who I am and enjoy doing the things I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a great point because I feel like patriarchy is it's not patriarchy if it, just like you said, if it makes sense. If you are 6'3" and I can't reach some shit, yo, can you get that for me, please? Like
Yeah.
yes, some things make sense. And also I think patriarchy comes into play when it's demanded of you because of your sex. Or or
Assumed.
it's assumed, or it's weaponized,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people suffer under patriarchy. And so you're right. Some stuff, I think that we have these buzzwords now and we definitely overuse them.
And folks don't read. Because if
And
you just pick up a book
folks don't read.
and comprehend what's actually being said, a lot of these, what's the term people use? Gender wars conversation would never happen. But people want to be salacious. People want to be attention grabbing. People want to do that emotional outrage marketing thing, which doesn't help us at all.
But it also says something about us because that's what you were hinting at before, is that's what we like. That's what grabs our attention.
Mm-hmm. And
So
that's by design too. Again, we're not going
come on,
down the
Hotep.
hotel. We're not doing it.
Come on, Hotep.
But
They try to tear the black family down.
I
Amen.
mean,
Let me ask you a question. Couple questions. How do you define manhood? How do you define womanhood, if you do at all?
um, I would say I leave it up to the individual because my version of a man is it may
What's your
be
version of a man?
um, to be loving, to be kind, to be assertive, to be a leader and also a follower, and knowing when to do both, having situational awareness, having the ability to protect not just physically but emotionally, because you can. There's been a lot of situations where I've protected people from themselves and from their
Hmm.
own emotions and their own demise, and that's a level of protection that goes into being a man. Well, my version of being a man, that I don't think it's discussed as much. Um, Also, being able to have foresight into what's going to happen. Also, understanding when God is talking to me and when my fears and emotions are, because that is not the same thing. Um, Being able to express myself. I wear more purple, pink, yellow than a lot of men do, like just fuchsia, just all the colors. And I feel like before the past 500 or 600 years or so, black men were allowed, or just men in general were allowed to be much more expressive. But because of colonization and the uptick in patriarchy and all these systems that are harmful, that's been ripped away from us. But if you look at Africa and South America and all these places, and America, really, because we was here before everybody else. Another whole tip. But if you look at all those cultures, those men were expressive. Half of them didn't even have this whole gender norm that
Mm-hmm.
we adhere to now. Like there
Yeah, the
wasn't, oh,
binary.
man, woman, yeah, the binary, like the man and the woman. No, there was, you're just a being. Who do you like? Who do you want to be with? Go be with that person. If y'all reproduce, okay. If y'all don't reproduce, okay. It was
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
So that's my loose definition.
How and I don't want this to be an interview, so you had questions, child, ask them. But I will ask you because I think I've asked you this before. I
Mm.
think I can't remember. But curious to know in your experience, and it sounds like your mother is an incredible woman.
She is.
Um,
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. She knows who she is.
Mm.
Um, how what do you need? Because you're not going to talk for all men, but what do you need, or you're from women, from the women in your life? How could we show up as better people to you?
Um, well, the women in my life already show up as great. I wouldn't
I know
ask of
that's
anything
right.
else. But what they do is they just allow me to be. If I want to wear a yellow shirt or a pink shirt, whatever color, every day of the week, they gonna be like, "Oh boy, you looking good. I like that color on you," and then keep it pushing. And they allow me to express myself emotionally because at the darkest times of my life, some of the darkest times of my life, which have been the past 2 years since my dad passed, um, they allowed me to cry. They allowed me to be. They allowed me to be fearful because I experienced a version of myself that I had never seen before. I was anxious. I was afraid. I didn't know which way to go. It's like I was floating in the abyss. And I kept asking myself, where in the hell is my dad? Because I couldn't find him. And I had all of my women friends allow me to cry on their couch, cry on their shoulder, like just be and come pick me up, take me to go eat and come back home. Like it's so simple, right? It sounds so simple. But then again, because of the way my mother is and has always been, I can only attract a certain type of woman to be close to me intimately, even if it's not sexually.
Do you have a lot of female friends?
Mm-hmm.
And you always have?
Yeah, always. I just get along with women.
I think that's so dope. I don't know a lot of men that my ex had a lot of female friends, and that was like the first ex that maybe that's not true. Well, a lot of them did, but I always respect and admire men that, just have platonic female friends. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, because look, if there's no sex on the table or no potential for sex, it's really like a brother sister relationship.
Mhm.
And my women friends put me on game. They be telling me when women be trying to play me or do me wrong. They're like, no, no, bro. She trying to run that on you. Like they'll let you know. And I appreciate it. And I tell them the same thing, like, no, that man run the game on you. Get out your
Yeah,
feelings. He ain't the one.
yeah.
So with the Jadena clips that we played, there was one in particular where he talks about um, men, the relationships that men have with men, right? And I what I find is like a lot of men that I talk to who are similar to you, not a lot, I don't know a lot, but the handful that I do know, they have a ton of female women friends, non-binary friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actively working with their male friends to get a little more comfortable, get a little more intimate, get a little more close, a little more tender if they're not there already. And Jadena, it was interesting because the he brought up this idea that was new to me, where he's like, well, men, and I'm paraphrasing, but men can be attracted to other men and it's not sexual, or men can look at another man and be like, that's a handsome man, the same way. And it made so much sense when I thought about how I will say to Shanti, girl, you're just whatever is sitting, or oh,
Mm-hmm.
you baddest, like I can say that to her, like you look sexy, oh, like in whatever. But I don't know that men are doing that with one another. And if I'm gonna be vulnerable, I don't know if I want them to, which is some deep seated shit in me that
Yeah,
I'm working through.
I'm
That
gonna
I'm
ask
like,
you a question about that in a minute, but go ahead.
all right, well, ask your question, whatever.
Or
Shanti got answer too.
oh, don't whatever me though. No, hold on. Don't whatever me.
I said, hold on. What?
Well, I can assure you 1,000% that I do that with my friends. Like, because
How do
we
you do
all
it? What does it sound like?
okay. So, and this is with gay friends, non-binary friends, um, bisexual, whatever. Like, I actually did it yesterday. We were at the gym, and my gym partner, the one that I work out with, our partner workouts. I told him, "Hey, boy, I see you. You looking good doing them squats. I see you paying off." And then I'll tell him, "Boy, put some more weight on there though." And he'll be like, "You know what? You're right, and thank you." And then like sometimes it'll get like really emotional because men do not get, well, a lot of times men don't get those compliments, like because
Mm,
like with women, like y'all give each other compliments all the time,
yeah.
but when men get them, it's like, bro, I've really been trying. Like, or somebody say, "Oh, you lost weight," or boy, you the shirt look good on you now. Like it means so much just to hear that from a man's voice because it feels so genuine. Because as a man, there's like a unwritten understanding that we have of how life is for us. Because nobody knows except us. Just like for women, nobody knows how y'all exist except for y'all. But when we're vocal about it, is what's so beautiful. Um, Also, with just my brothers or my cousins and stuff, we'll just be around talking like, "Hey, bro, like I know you went through that last year, but I see you smiling again, bro. I'm happy to see you smiling again." Or, "Hey, like that girl did you dirty, but look at you, you still got them rolling in. You gonna get you another good one. Don't worry about it." Like it's it's beautiful. Like, and I do this all the time. And we talk shit to each other too. Like, don't get it confused. Like, it's still half the time we know how to compliment each other and take it. Half the time we don't. But roasting is a love language too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not really aggressive with you as one of my male friends, and we're not really friends. Like, if I call you by your actual name, your government, you're not really my dog for real.
Mm.
But back to
that feels good. That doesn't
it
bother
does.
me.
So what?
At all. That I'm cheesing over here like
It's the sparkle in the eye part that got you fucked up with the Jadena one, huh?
He was just like, the way that you wear your mascara makes your eyes sparkle under the moonlight. And I was like, you're reciting prose to one another? I don't even think I want to hear that about myself. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
It was just whack delivery.
I have to sit back. I have to examine that. Because I said on the episode, if you don't present a certain way, I don't know if I'm as open to that. And that disappointed me about myself.
So what do you
really
mean by
did.
present a certain way?
I mean, I was thinking about a gentleman. Again, I said it. There was a gentleman in my life who's he is 6'3", shoulders back, brown, beautiful Dominican man, just prowess. And the way he engaged with his male friends was so beautiful. He would just be like, "Oh, bro, you look really good. Like you've really been working out. I see it, bro. Look at your shoulders." Like he would say, like, "Look." I'll never forget him. Like, "Look at your shoulders. Like your traps are coming in. Let me see. Stand up." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I had not seen that, and I'd never questioned any sexuality from him at all. Now, I actually don't know how I would respond if he didn't have that prowess and he didn't feel like such a quote unquote man.
You might question him.
I hope not. I don't know, but I hope not. But I'm self-aware enough to ask.
Can I say something
myself.
though?
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting how self-expression can be such an issue. Well, self-expression in men can be such an issue because I feel like a lot of the time it's not even us that be tripping; it be the women because a lot of us are those of us that are heterosexual. We care about the opinions of women. Mm-hmm. So if the women think you soft or you lame or you not manly enough, whatever stupid norms we have, then that takes away your chances of being with a woman. And there's so much pressure on us as cis hetero men to just get the woman, treat her right, go sit down. Like there's so much that goes into that I don't think a lot of y'all understand. And if the women don't like you, if the women don't think you him or whatever, if they don't think you got it, then it can lead to depression. It can lead to emotional issues, and it can lead to suicide. Which, if y'all aren't aware, suicide rates are incredibly high in men.
Yeah.
Because of, and this is one of the factors, the lack of acceptance. That's what the root of it is. Because of who I am, because of the way that I exist, I've noticed that a lot of women are not accepting of that. Like you asked me earlier, am I aware that the way I carry myself, the way I engage emotionally is unique? Yes, I'm painfully aware, like I said, because it's led to me being mishandled emotionally and physically in relationships. That's why I'm part of the reason why I'm single now, because I don't have the capacity to be mishandled by anyone, especially when I'm going to do everything in my power not to do that to someone else. But I can
Mishandled or
say
rejected? What do you mean
mishandled.
mishandled?
No, I said I used that word intentionally.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
Mishandled.
it's kind of like a plant, right? Well, we all are plants. We just walk around. So you have to water a plant, right? You have to speak love into that plant, right? But if you don't do either of those things, what happens to that plant? If you mishandle that plant, what happens? You don't speak love to it. You don't give it light. You don't water it. What will happen? The plant will die.
Mm-hmm.
So same concept. If I'm for me specifically, if I'm engaged romantically with a woman, if I'm not loved on, if I'm not touched on, if I'm not catered to, if life isn't spoken to me by that woman, spoken into me by that woman, then I'm not gonna feel like I belong, like I'm accepted, like I'm loved. That's mishandling. That's not rejection. Rejection is different, and we all got to deal with that. Everybody don't want me, just like everybody don't want y'all. But and everybody has to deal with that and accept that. That's fine. But to me, as much as it takes for someone to get intimately close to me romantically, and trust me, it does take a lot, um, to do all that work and to mishandle me is not something that I want to go through or that I want to put someone else through. So that's why I said I don't have time to be mishandled. Does that make more sense
So
now?
mishandled kind of equates to neglect. Does it?
I wouldn't.
Is it?
I wouldn't.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
wouldn't say neglect either. I said just incapable of engaging with someone like me. Because how do you know how? Because example, how? Well, I'll ask you two. Would you, if you two were to engage with a man like me, based off this conversation so far, would you know how to handle it? Would you sabotage it? Would you embrace it? Do you feel like you had the capacity to, as yourselves, who you are right now?
Shanti.
I think um I think that with your emotional intelligence and maturity, and I've been with men with high emotional intelligence and maturity. I've been with men similar to you. They're still the tenderest parts and the hardest parts and the difficulty of being in intimate relationship is inevitable. And I don't know what it's like to be in close relationship with you, so I can't answer that question, but I don't think I would assume, and I definitely am not ever going to go into relationships assuming that it's guaranteed ease. Maybe I won't have to deal with the same power dynamics or immaturity or, basic ass behavior, but I think the inevitable pain of being seen, of seeing somebody when you're in close relationship is it's just going to happen. And I don't know if it's mishandling feels like there's this
Intention.
consciousness or intention. I don't know. But I think that, and I don't know what your relationships were in the past, but I don't think that books or understanding power systems or structures, even if you have the tools, it takes a lot of practice to like be in relationship and to not fumble and to not hurt and to get back up and um, to untangle the entanglements that are inevitably happen. So, and that's really hard and it's really painful and it's really fantastic at the same time. And It's you know, it's the best part of being a the only way to really, in my opinion, unravel and to dismantle and to be in practice of those, that resistance of patriarchy and all the isms, is in relationship. To
Mm-hmm.
me, it only happens in relationship, because that's where the tests come up. That's where it's in the little power plays. It's in the very, very small details where you're like, yo, I resent this nigga right now. I'm expecting this thing from this man, and he's revealing his most honest feelings to me. And I'm like, I resent him for it, which then makes me sit with like, oh, what am I carrying? What's really good? What's really good with me? Because yeah, when a man starts expressing himself and saying how he feels and resists so much of the roles that you unintentionally assume, yeah, shit gets real. It gets really real, child. So maybe I mishandle you, Leo. I don't know. To answer your question, maybe not. Maybe we would be, you know, or a man like you, not you specifically, but it's tender, difficult work, but it's the most important work.
I agree with you. It is, and I don't want to say this. I appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability in that answer. First of all, and second, what I say is spoken from my own experiences and the experiences of men like me in my close circle. So there's and you're right. There's the conversations to be had, the openness, the understanding of self. But again, how do you? Again, this is for y'all, anyone listening. How do you actually interact with men that make you feel comfortable and safe and seen and loved? And there's not anything for you to worry about. You can be your most vulnerable, ugly self and bring out those ugly pieces, those beautiful pieces, all of them of yourself, and not have to worry about being judged or harmed. How many
I
women
think
have actually experienced that environment, and how do
that
you
was going to
behave in
be
that?
what I that was going to be my comment is I don't know that I also know men. I might not have been with them, might have attempted, but I know men who well read, they know all the bell hooks, they know the words, they are facilitating the lectures, but they don't put it into practice. And
Yeah.
so or at least didn't with me. I don't know. So I don't know that I have experienced that. And also I find or that I have found is that some of the men that had all of this information weaponized it. They didn't use their
Mm-hmm.
powers for good. It was a way to like lure me in and then kind of like warp my mind. That was younger me, but it was still like I don't know this safety with
Mm-hmm.
any man.
And that's the thing. Do do how many people actually know safety with men? That's the first question. That's a low percentage, sadly. And I'll say this as a man that deals with people that have been convicted in my own family, in my own friend groups, um, just men that have had to deal with men on every level. Where's the trust? And we're also conditioned largely not to trust men. As men, I'm speaking only about men first. Then we get into every other group. How do men treat these other groups collectively? What's everybody's experiences, which they're all different? And then the question is, well, for the ones like myself that were raised this way, how are our feelings and desires and wants considered in these conversations? Because yeah, like you said, a lot of, like yourself, you haven't experienced that, but that's not, and no disrespect at all, but that's not my issue. That's a you issue.
Hmm.
But if we're hypothetically, if you and I are to engage, I need to feel safe too, just
Yeah.
like you do. because there's only so many. You're going to get a lower vibrational version of me if I'm not safe. You're going to get the highest free flowing, loving version of me if
That's
that's
everybody.
reciprocated.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everybody. I
But
think go ahead, Shanti.
but doesn't that take time? Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is what being in relationship is. I don't, again, I don't expect um it's not that I don't expect safety, but I think that that's something that happens and deepens and evolves in a relationship. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's the yeah. You know, so if it's not there in the beginning, right? Like if you have your guard up or you're coming with your past traumas, it's the untangling together. It's like, oh, I see you, you're scared, you don't need to be, or and vice versa. It just goes back where you're constantly, this person is a hopefully a safe mirror for you to see yourself, right? And they're not rejecting you or projecting their shit onto you so that you guys can through each other and with each other you slowly unravel and you slowly take down your armor and it deepens, and then this trust and this safety develops. So I guess I say I don't know that i ex- I expect all men, or that men, I automatically think men aren't capable of doing that, when I know
Yeah.
for myself that's my, like I'm not even capable of doing that all the way. Like that's I want to be in
Mm.
practice with somebody in doing that. You know, it's less of like a gendered thing for me and more just like a
Mm-hmm.
human thing. Like I do, Antoinette are in relationship doing the same thing as the same gendered, people. Like we're in play of like seeing ourselves
Deepening.
through each other and deepening and learning to trust and learning how to love, and forever ever till the wheels fall off, you know?
Yeah, and the gender separation is something that we do because in reality, a lot of our communities, a lot of our people, like when we grow up in these houses and we see these situations, we all receive that information differently. Like if you have say there are three children growing up in a house and it's like a toxic relationship with the mom and dad, they're always fighting and arguing, and patriarchy is hella relevant in there. Um, if you have a boy, he's going to receive that information one way, and the girl is going to receive that information another way. Because, oh, this is mom and this is dad, I'm a reflection of them. I'm like them in a lot of ways. Is this how I should react in a situation? Is this what love should feel like? There's a lot of conditioning and understanding of self that goes into watching our caregivers, whether that's your actual parents, mom, dad, non-binary across the board, whoever. Like, how are these people treating each other? How do they engage with each other? And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about understanding who we are and why we are the way we are, and how that comes from watching our parents. Now, my my parents are unique in my family. You go to uncle, completely different situation. I got cousins that you wouldn't even think we're in the same family, but
Mm.
because of the intentionality and the time and the patience my parents had, it that produces me. But
Right.
for Mashanti, to add on to what you were saying, I just think yes, these things take time, and yes, people have like a relationship is kind of like putting a mirror up to someone. But what's the reaction when you see yourself in that mirror? What if you haven't had to ever look at yourself? A lot of people don't even look at themselves until they absolutely have to, either because they're oblivious to their actions and behaviors and how it's affected themselves and others, or just because they're afraid, like,
Well,
or any
see,
other reason.
I think that's more the person that I would probably shy away from,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have it in me to be in relationship with folks who've never looked in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's across gender. I don't have it. I ain't got it. If you can't, If you can't see yourself even a little bit, then what are we doing? It's just, yeah. So I don't know. I would have to think about what you were saying. I think for me, I am open in a way to I'm very open, not in a way. I'm open to being met with safety. Hella. I just ain't find a safe space yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I provide it. I think
You do. Because
okay.
I'm talking to you right now. Well, both of y'all right now. If if you two didn't provide a safe space, I would have never agreed to speak to you all today. I wouldn't even listen to your podcast.
Damn. Well, shout out to us then. High
Yeah, shout
five,
out to
Shanti.
y'all.
Do you have it's we're going to wrap soon, but do you I know that you had some questions. Do you have anything else? Any other questions? Cuz this thank you for this conversation. It's valuable. It's valuable to just not hear people go back and forth and play the blame game.
No, I don't like all that because it's not productive. And I move from a place of love, and I love people way too much to sit up here and argue with somebody and not get to the root of an issue. Don't talk to me about no symptoms and no byproducts. Talk to me about what's really going on. Otherwise, don't talk to me.
The way that I appreciate it so much because you just like you can anyway, it doesn't matter, but like you will have like all of this very thoughtfulness, and then you get real
With
curt
a
on the other ones.
countryism.
Like when the
Oh yeah,
countryism come out, you like, yeah, don't talk to me. You ain't about it. You ain't
yeah.
about it. Shut up.
I
It's
mean,
like, oh,
you got to
okay.
be able to do both. And the reality
Duality is the
is,
thing.
like I am at the core of me. I will always be a black man from a small town in South Texas, so that will never leave me. But I've read this book,
Okay. You gotta
this
say what
book.
book it is now. You gotta say what it is now. This is an
Uh,
audio show.
oh, okay, yeah. So I've read The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. I've read books by James Baldwin, Begin Again. I read Read Real Cool by Bell Hooks. I've read All About Love by Bell Hooks. So I cannot read those books and not have the language. And Antoinette, you said something interesting earlier too. You said you've engaged with men that have the language and read the books,
Mm-hmm.
but I started. This is my life. I just live this way. I've only been able in recent years had this articulation in his language. So it's kind of like I started the other way.
I think that's the best way. Because
I
if
think
you
so
got the
too.
language and you ain't putting it in practice, it's tricky. It's
Tricky.
like you know what you gotta do, but you ain't doing it. And then when you got that language and you know you can manipulate with it, tricky,
Then you
baby.
Jadena, child.
Then you Jadena and you a whole bunch of other people I can name that I won't.
No, don't be
So
messy. We doing good. Don't be messy.
no, I ain't gonna be messy. Not yet.
No,
Anyway.
uh, one question I have is, how do y'all feel? How do y'all feel y'all can be of better service and help to just men in general?
Look at both of us like ding 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 ding. I don't know what else I don't know what else I could do now. I get in trouble and I be fighting for my life sometimes in these fucking comments.
Yeah, I don't like how they be doing you over here, or I don't see the thing is when you go over there. I don't like how they be doing you.
No, I think that people just have a difference of opinion, and I think that not everybody always wants to hear the immediate response be, well, but have you thought? Like people be like, oh, can you just agree real fast? Can we just feel how we feel real quick? And I get that too.
You know what's interesting about that though? This is
What?
not meant for argument, but we give women that grace all the time, but we don't have that same grace for men. Like, have you? Because in situations, a lot of times, the conversation will go, "Oh, this woman did something. Well, have you thought about these reasons X, Y, and Z?" And nothing gets said. But then, in turn, when it's a man doing something that's terrible or that we don't understand, I should say, there's rarely the consideration of the why behind it.
Well, we can't talk about that without talking about the power dynamics. And part of that, part of the grace that people have for women is because they are not at the top of the totem pole. So we'd be remiss not to acknowledge that and say that is why oftentimes, you know, people don't feel like women have as much accountability or are required to have as much accountability because they get in the short end of the stick, especially Black women. But I think one of the most powerful things that I ever heard, no, it's not. That's fucking ridiculous for me to say. But a really dope thing that I heard was from Erykah Badu. And they were asking her, like, what do you do to men? Like, they say, don't look at your eyes, don't this. Like, are you giving them healing baths? Like, they were just running down a list of all the things that they thought she did. And she said, I listened to them. And that was it. And I sat back and thought,
Hey.
But it's the more and more men that get behind these podcast mics, the more my ears be bleeding, if I'm being honest. But even then, I'll listen to try to identify what the hell is wrong with them and who hurt you. Are you okay, Joe? But like, I can't listen. I can't deal with it.
Can we start a petition to take away podcast mics from everyone that is just hurt and spewing hurt rhetoric?
But that's all of us.
I'm done with it.
That's all of us.
No, but some people's platforms are strictly, oh, we're gonna get on here, we're gonna tear up the girls today, we're gonna tear the boys up today. Like,
yeah.
Why? For what? Y'all ain't got no love in real life. Y'all ain't cool in real life. Like y'all just be on here talking. No shade to anyone specifically, but
I think that a lot of people don't have it in real life. I listen to people talk, and then I'll shut up. I've been engaging with a lot more people. Like I've been like trying to go on dates, and my best friends come up they come up in conversation. And when I describe the relationship that I have with my best friends to the men on these dates, it's met with such cynicism. And they're like, you are so naive. Yeah, yes, that's not how you, like, you don't think any of your girls would ever do. Like, I literally had a man ask me if I ever thought one of my girlfriends would sleep with my partner because it happened to him. One of his boys slept with his girl. And I was like, there's no way in hell, because I don't understand these strange and shallow relationships that other people are calling friendship. Like, we're doing real work and we are bonded in a way that feels otherworldly. God is in these relationships with us. And I don't know that people really feel that. And so I don't know that people have the capacity to get on a mic and radiate love when they don't feel it.
Oh yeah, because it wouldn't be authentic. Because
people listen to us, and half the time we be wrong. We don't be knowing what we talk about, especially when we talk about pop culture. But they love us because we love each other, and you people feel that.
Yeah. Well, how about this? We just promote all male podcasts that are led with love. How about that? How about I start one? Hell, because
there you go.
Come on, Leo.
Another motherfucking No, what's his name? I like that one guy. What's his name? I love him. Jason something or other. The black man that be doing the stuff with the kids. And he tries to help the children control their emotions through like karate. What is his name?
I have his book, Jason Wilson.
Yes.
He has
two books. Jason Wilson, where he at?
Yes.
I love him.
Cry Like a Man.
Yeah.
And then Battle Cry. Both of his books. Yes.
Also, Let's Talk, Bruh. That was another podcast they stopped recently, but they're out there. They just don't get as much of the love. That's all.
Yeah, I'll be listening to some. But hold on, Shanti. You ain't getting away. In what ways can you... Jason Wilson is his name.
You've seen him.
He the older guy?
Yeah. Little older,
I got
handsome
my
man.
glasses on it. Oh yes.
Look at her. Look at her.
That's not how I think, Leo. I'm sorry. I don't feel in my relationships that I have, the relationships that I have currently with men, I don't feel as upset or bothered as I feel like the collective cacophony is around it. I feel like I have been invited to do better with myself. And I think that that's what that's what I can do is all I can do is be responsible for the ways that I project my shit onto men. And I know I know I do that. And yeah, so that I could actually be in relationship, actually, get to know them, grow, listen. It's hard to listen, it's hard to get to know, it's hard to deepen if you just projecting your stuff onto them all the time. So I guess my main responsibility is to be accountable to my shit.
I love that.
But I feel hopeful. I do. I feel hopeful.
You don't have trash men around you
I
because
really
you ain't
don't.
been dating. That's why.
I don't have trash, and I haven't dated that
Wait till
trash
you
of men.
start dating.
I don't know.
Don't do
I don't
that.
know.
I will.
I hope Antoinette's perspective is not widespread.
What?
What's her perspective? Oh, that men are trash date. There's trash dates out there.
There are a lot of trash dates out there, but there's a lot of great men as well. But there's a lot. I've been out here, Leo. 36-year-old woman. I've been single for 8 years. It's a lot of them that's like, what did you just say?
Oh, you've been out for a little while.
I've been outside and I've wanted to be in. Somebody get me inside.
Get that girl in the house. Get her in the house now.
To the point where I don't even really be outside. I just crept back out, and now I'm about to come back in again. But I will say that some of the conversations that I have, some of the experiences that I've had are very disheartening, and I'm just like, damn, how we gonna get it together, y'all? And I still love y'all, but how we gonna get it together collectively? Yeah. But anyway.
I'm trying as much as I can. I don't know if I'm around the men up there.
Keep recruiting the book club now.
I'm trying.
What's it called? One more again.
The men's right now. It's the men's meetup. It's so basic. I need some help with it.
I'm gonna Google the men's book club. That's gonna be
hard to meetup book club.
Oh my God!
You gotta get specific. You gotta say at least in South Texas or something. Now, the men's book club in South Texas.
Tell your friends to pull up.
Wait, so listen, Leo, before you tell everybody where they could follow you, because I'm sure there's going to be a cacophony of
shout out to the vocabulary
listeners. I don't know where I heard that today, but I heard it. Just being like, I wonder who he is. All my South Texan ladies.
Texas lit, I hear.
All the young players from the South.
Yeah.
You heard him. You heard it. But before you do that, before we give them all your information so they can go slide in your DM, you got to do our rapid fire questions.
Wait, hold on. Slide in the DM? Girl, relax.
Leo,
Leo is like, I am not open.
You take me, Leo. How do you want to be approached?
This is a community. They could say, I really enjoyed your episode. Like I would love to get to know you more.
What is actually the way that you want to be approached?
Hold on.
Or I would love to join your book club. It could be gentlemen.
Leo, what's your sign? Number one. What's your sign? What's your astrological sign?
Hold on, real quick.
You don't trust anybody.
Antoinette, I saw how that live went last time.
No, that was one person cutting up. Is she funny?
It was more than one. Don't do that.
They won't do that. All right, y'all. Wait. You can't do that. You can't brush it off now, Shanti.
I do not want to be objectified.
You're not gonna be objectified, ladies. If you enjoy what Leo had to say, you'd like to build and deepen. If you have good intentions and will provide a safe space. That is the only rationale to use to reach out to him. Do not waste his time. Talk about come mow my lawn.
Excuse me?
Come build me something. He say like yard work.
Yeah.
And come engineer something on over here. Don't do it. It's inappropriate. Okay?
I'm single, but I'm selective. Let's keep that in mind.
Oh, put it on a t-shirt. All right.
So let's do the rapid fire real quick.
Bang bang. Shanti, set it up.
Leo, you have 2 seconds to answer these questions. You cannot ask questions. You cannot justify. You just pick one or the other.
Oh, it's
can't do both.
Let me get my seat together then. Hold on.
Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Malcolm or Martin?
Martin.
Generational wealth or familial happiness?
Generational wealth.
Jay or Nas?
I don't know either of the catalogs very well.
Mac or Sephora?
Sephora.
Palestine or Israel?
I don't know enough. Next.
In the light or in the dark?
In the dark.
Prince or Michael?
Prince.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Marriage or long-term commitment?
Long-term commitment.
Trader Joe's or Whole Foods?
Oh, Trader Joe's.
Voodoo or brown sugar?
Brown sugar.
Family or career?
Family.
A seat at the table or lemonade?
Lemonade.
Oh. Nicki or Cardi? Oh, quick.
Cardi.
Jollof or rice and peas?
Oh, jollof, girl.
Missionary or doggy style? Sorry.
Doggy.
Jesus.
Protection or pull out in prayer?
Wait, say it again.
Protection or pull out in prayer? Sorry. Quick.
Protection.
Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one mic?
Both of them.
That's not how this works. Love Jones or Jason's lyric?
Jason's lyric.
Lisa Bonet or Nia Long?
Nia.
Nia. Hey. Bell Hooks or Audre Lorde?
Oh, that's not fair. Bell Hooks though.
Nuck if you buck or Annie up?
Nuck if you buck.
Make your girl a plate or have her get her own?
I'll make it for her.
3-6 Mafia or Outkast?
3-6.
Rihanna or Beyonce?
Ree.
Biggie or Pop?
Oh, Biggie. Got a rep for the big boys.
Erica or Jill?
Erica.
Brandy or Monica?
Monica.
Read the book or watch the movie?
I can't do both. Read the book.
Toni Morrison or Alice Walker?
Toni.
Sundress or sweatpants?
Oh, sundress.
That should be Toni Morrison or Maya Angelou. That would be better.
Probably.
SWV or Escape?
SWV.
Flats or drums?
I don't eat meat.
Wow. What a time to be alive. Cardi B. What'd I say? Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion?
What?
Oh, Megan. We rep in Texas.
Travel back in time, travel forward in time.
Oh. Travel back.
Buy stocks or buy flights?
Flights.
Prove your point or pray for peace?
Pray for peace.
Fun in your 20s or the wisdom of your 30s?
Wisdom.
And finally, love and light or money and clits? Apologies. That's inappropriate.
Wait, what was it?
I'm nervous.
No, say it.
Can you tell?
What you nervous
Love
for?
and light.
Girl, say what you nervous for. Go ahead, girl. You gonna say both of them.
Our tagline used to be love and light or money and dicks, but I changed it to money and clits for you. So is it love and light or is it money and clits?
I want all that.
That's not okay.
That's my answer.
Leo.
That's my answer.
Did not follow the ladies. He doesn't follow directions well. Where
Let
can
me be disobedient?
See, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on TikTok and on Instagram at Mind of McAfee Jr.
Spell it.
MindofMcafeejr.
And is that how they can find the book club?
Yes, you can find book club information. Also have a bunch of clips from the different topics, interviews. I do juicing as well. Actually, it's one of my juices right here.
I thought that was a cocktail.
I don't drink.
Oh God.
So yeah, I have juice recipes, some mental health stuff, mental health in general. Yeah, come follow me. Come see what's happening over there.
See what's happening.
Leo, thank you so very much for your continued support and also just having you on the podcast. It's great. She said bye.
No. Anyway, I was trying to prep for the next thing. It doesn't matter.
And she's trying to get me off of here, y'all.
No, I was heard on the speaker, and the speaker connected to this instead of my phone. It just got very nervous.
If you want me to go, I'll just leave. It's cool.
That's not it, Leo. Thank you. Thank you, Leo. We appreciate you. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the safety that you provided in this conversation. Your intention. A king. And the last minute, yes, because I ain't reach out to you until like Monday or something, Tuesday maybe. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Y'all too.
Wait, did he know about the uploading?
Don't leave. Stay.